All right, guys, welcome back to another Always Bent podcast. Stoked to be back in the studio. I know it's been a while since you've heard from us. Summer is in full swing. The fishing season's in full swing, and we couldn't be more stoked. Obviously, we've been super busy with fishing and trying to get after these tuna, and so have some of our guests. We did have to reschedule a couple of them, but hey, it's understandable. You know, we knew this was coming, and we're stoked to be fishing. We got a special guest in the studio, Alex Clark, who is the new mate this year for Bad Habit, and we're going to get into that here in a minute.
AKA G5 the Duck.
Yeah, AKA G5 the Duck on Instagram. Go give him a follow, check him out. But yeah, we're been having a fun season so far. You know, it's been off to a funky start with the tuna bite and just the way the water's been moving. You know, it's not like previous years, but we're still finding fish. You guys been killing them, so it's pretty awesome. And got the 37 Sea Hunter Bad Habit officially dialed in. Got the first tournament under the books. But let's go back to. So I know you guys all saw, we went out with the full service crew. What was that, back in June now? Or beginning of June, I think?
Like that was May.
Or it might have even been end of May. But it was
May.
First yellowfin of the season. We were stoked on that and just kept it rolling from there. And
yeah, I thought we were really, that day we got out there, I was like, it's on. Like we get out there and we doubled up right away and I was like, they're here, thick. Yeah. And then like, crickets the rest of the day.
I know.
It's the story of our life this year.
I was going to say, we had that other trip like that where we went out. I think that was the only trip I've been on that Alex didn't make it. But, you know, we got those two first thing in the morning again, and then they were airing out next to the boat the rest of the day. But we got those two mahi at lunch, and that was it. They just wouldn't eat. But that was still
that was actually
early June.
I'm sure some of you guys saw those fish this year. Like, dude, that was insane, the amount of fish that were here.
They were there
in the spring, like.
Yep.
I mean, thousands and thousands and thousands of them, and you're lucky to get a bite. You know, it was just absurd, and we came to find out that it was the bait that they were eating. They were keyed in on those tiny little sardines or whatever they were.
Yeah, the little crack minnows, I've heard them called, or
crack minnows, sardines, whatever. And they were really keyed in on them. They didn't really want to touch your baits. So,
right.
You know, you get lucky and we got our bites. We were getting our bites on we got a couple bites on nakeds, you know, early in the year. I feel like that was like kind of the ticket, like to getting a bite out of them fish.
Well, I was going to say, you know, we had that slow start and then it seemed like it was going to pick up. You guys had a couple epic trips in a row. So the first one, it was what, 2 clients, you and Alex?
Yeah, it was
or
a
3?
charter. It was, but yeah, just a guy that I've known my whole life, and him and his son and couple of their buddies, but we went down that day. We actually went out. We ran out with Don Mozzie and and the other neighbor Matt.
Yep.
And
where did you guys go that day again?
We started at the 800. We started fishing at the 800
in Washington, right?
And right above the Washington. And he went north. He ended up going north, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing either. So I was like, Alex, let's look at the rip charts. And he pulled the rip charts up and it was like, there's a little sliver of blue water down here to the south. Let's go check it out. And we rolled down to where we got to the water. Like, it was just a tiny little piece of blue water. I mean, probably 8 or 10 miles long by maybe a mile or 2 wide.
Yeah,
very small.
I'm gonna look up real quick what date that was. But so if you want, Alex, or both of you, you know, I know you guys got your limit that day.
The first day we didn't. We killed 7.
Oh, okay.
And then they were like, they were good. You know, they were like, all right, like, this is enough fish for us. So we went in. It was kind of like a limit, kind of like a day off early.
Yeah,
we were off early.
Right. Yeah, and like I was talking about the day you guys were back by lunchtime. Like
that was the next day. I was going into that. So like we left them biting that first day, and then we had another trip with my buddy Josh, Austin Enzer's cousin, Josh, and his girlfriend, and he hadn't offshore fished in a while. He used to fish with Kyle Pete. He's a good fisherman.
Yeah.
But he wanted to go, so I was like, we're just going to go down there and start out in the same spot and work south if the water had moved. And we got there, man, and it's just finding those birds were key this year. Like, they've been key, and if you didn't find the birds, you weren't going to catch them.
Yeah, well, I just looked. That was June 20th. So it was June 20th, and I figured he had to be a pretty good angler. I mean, I know Alex been killing it, but, with just 4 of you on the boat,
his girlfriend, Emily's a beast.
She absolutely killed it.
I mean, honestly, like, I'd rather have her on the reel than 90% of my friends. I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
she's incredible. Like, girls are just really good anglers. Like, they listen, they follow instructions well, and they got that lower center of gravity. They know their hips, like, make it better for them. But yeah,
Well,
I think she reeled in like 5 or 6 tunas that day.
Yeah.
that was my next question: was how many did she reel in?
I think she had like 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I
she
think.
had like half of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And did you guys miss any bites that day? Like, was there
Oh
other
yeah.
fish too?
Oh yeah. We ended up catching 13. Our limit was 12, and we threw one back at the end of the day. We got covered up, I think, with like 5 of them at the end of the day, and we only needed 4.
Just released one.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that.
And I'm sure we burned a couple off, in the cover ups, and then we lost a couple, but nothing to tackle failure or just a lot of tunas hitting your shit at once.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that got us all pumped up and hoping, all right, it's on now.
Yeah.
And it was a couple days after that. I should look.
It was
up
the next
date.
day.
Yeah, next
Next
day.
day.
Friday. We had a lot of trips that week. We had
So
a
yeah,
trip
you
almost
guys
every
tell
day.
me, man.
So like the next day we went out and we went back to the north a little bit that day, right below the Washington, like where I'd caught the fish the first day,
Mm-hmm.
and because the water had like pushed back up in there a little bit, and we got out there and dude, we got up, it looked like the day before, like, all right, it's fucking on, we were so jacked up. We get over the birds, and like the first group of birds we go through, like nothing eats, and I'm like, are you serious? So we went back through it, and we get a bite on a flat line, and then I'm seeing the tunas come up again. Like, they didn't want to hit anything back, they just want to hit everything
Flat
close.
line, yeah.
And like, dude, they were just coming up and smoking the flat line, and they kept missing and missing and missing, and everybody's up on the front of the boat. Alex was back there jigging, but everybody on the front of the boat, I'm like, get the fuck back here and jig. Somebody jig that fucking fish.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it was right there. Like, it was just asking to be caught. And we ended up we ended up only getting one out of, probably 4 bites on that cover up, and then we went back around, found the birds again. They didn't bite. So then people started working in the area, like, a lot more boats started working in. So I am like, people come, like, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I left right away, and I went out in the deep. And dude, it was like the middle of the day. We were just talking, and I was marking tons of bait, but no fish. It's like 500 fathoms, I think, maybe a little deeper. And that 353.
Yeah.
What is it called? The cotton candy.
Cotton candy.
The
yeah.
cotton candy gets hit with that big ass yellowfin, and I thought it was a big eye when it hit. I mean, it hit
Yeah,
hard.
I did too. It smoked it.
That's what I was gonna ask you, Alex. Like, when it hit, what were you thinking? Like, big eye?
I was big eye because I don't think really any. There's a couple like 80-pound yellowfins, maybe a 90 caught before that, but I didn't think it was.
Yeah, the only one I think had an over 100 at that point was Restless Lady.
Yeah, they killed a 116 overnighter, and then. But yeah, I thought it was a big eye.
And then it got next to the boat, or what did you think when you first saw color?
I was standing
I was like talking over him. I'm like, it's a big eye. And he's like, no, it's a yellowfin.
I saw the sickles. I saw the big wings. I was like, oh, that's a yellowfin.
That is awesome.
Which was a big surprise. I mean, dude, I've honestly, like, that's been a bucket list fish of mine.
Yeah,
for
well,
a
I was
long
going to say,
time.
you guys can speak to, and most of you probably know watching, like, those aren't a common occurrence here in Ocean City. I'm not saying it never happens. You might see 1 or 2 a summer, or maybe even 3 or 4, but, just, like you said, it's a bucket list, a goal you always want to
you
catch.
don't see, like, what we had this year was, like, an anomaly. Like, when you were out there in the deep and, like, you'd see a pack of yellowfins and they'd be 100-pounders. It's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
You don't ever see that,
Yeah, and that's awesome, but still, even after that, we still have had some real inconsistencies. The weather hasn't been in our favor.
I'm honestly, it looks like I'm doing something on Facebook, I'm sure, but this year's been a struggle. Like, I don't post the trips that I don't catch on, and I've been out there a lot.
And I'm sure a lot of you captains, mates, and avid fishermen will know, if you've been out there, it's been a tough year to catch these fish, and it was a tough year for the tuna tournament too. We'll get into that here in a minute, but it's just between the weather and then just the inconsistencies in the bite, and the way the water's been out there.
When we get those, like, when I saw the writing on the wall, I mean, I don't know if you remember me saying this, but, like, I remember back in, like, May or June when, like, we got one of those first couple eddies. When we got those first couple eddies, it was like, it's going to be a crappy year. It's like, it's a beautiful piece of blue water that's 68 degrees, 70 degrees, and there's nothing in it.
Right.
It's like I like when stuff happens like that early in the year. I'm like, all right, this is the trend this year. This is not a good trend to have happening, you know. So I kind of saw the writing on the wall then. I was like, it's going to be a tough year. I thought it was going to be a tough year.
Right. Yeah. And you know, so like we said, it's been tough fishing, and all the boats were probably feeling the same way. We get to the Ocean City Tuna Tournament, usually that's pretty much what kicks off the tournament season, I feel like, every year. I know they have the Battle for the Buckle now, and
it's the first big tournament.
Right,
yeah.
and you know, there was, what was it, 50-something boats this year,
51.
I think?
51 boats, yep.
51 boats, and Bad Habit ended up 11th overall, which is awesome for the first tournament ever on the new Sea Hunter. And so you guys, actually first, you pre-fished the tournament a little bit.
Yeah, so I got like this weird fantasy every year. I like to go out and try to catch a bluefin for the tuna tournament. It's been working for me, so I was begging my buddies last week, not Alex. Alex is always on my page. But I'm like, dude, we got to stay inshore one day. We have to stay inshore one day. I'm telling you, this, like, history repeats itself. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody wanted to do it. Like, they wanted to go offshore, which is cool. Like, they're paying for the trip, so, you know, if that's what they want to do. They want to lose their money out there. I don't care. You know,
right.
I'm just doing what they want to do.
Yep.
But I fishing was slow offshore. We did end up catching a couple yellowfins that day offshore, but we came back in late, put in a half-ass effort, and I said to Alex after that, I'm like, dude, nobody else wants to go out there. I'm like, why don't you and I just fucking go out?
I remember I was trying to go with you.
Yeah.
It was just you, Alex, and I guess you talked your wife into going.
Yeah,
but
her parents were in town, so I was like, come on,
yeah.
Get on the boat, like,
go for a ride.
Yeah, get away
It
from the
looked like a
kids.
nice day that day
Oh,
too.
it was
gorgeous.
Flat
Gorgeous.
calm. It was, you know, it was like 100 degrees on land. It was like 75 out there.
And you guys left out like 9 or 10 a.m., right? It was like a late start.
I mean,
I
don't even think we got to the jack spot. It was our first place we checked. I don't think we even got there till like 11:30, 12.
Right.
And there was nothing really there. I mean, I was hoping to find something there, but we didn't find anything in the jack spot. So that contour, everybody, the jack spot, east side, that's the bluefin contour. Look, it's, you know, up and down that line there, man. That we call it Tuna Alley. It's like a deep trough that runs right past 20 fathoms. Like, you want to catch bluefins, like, that's where you want to look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was looking at a lot of the structure on Navionics when I ran out the other day with my uncle, just looking, and it is so juicy in there with just no-name lumps and little shelves and ledges, and, you know, it looks like an awesome area to fish, and, you know, it's right. Well, that's what I was going to ask. So you guys worked up north towards Massey's of the 12-fathom lump in that general area.
Yeah.
And I guess, you remember what time you stuck the 144-pounder?
Let's say 3:30 or 4.
I think, we hooked it. I think we hooked it right at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, I know we got a bite.
Killed it at 4:30.
We got a bite right when we got up there. Hit the way back. It was probably a bluefin, you know. We didn't hook it long enough to tell, but I was like, all right, they're here. I was like, I'm like 99% sure that was a bluefin. You know, came in, value was chomped, like looked just like a tuna bite. And we're like, all right, there's tons of life, tons of bait. I was like, guys, you guys cool staying for a little bit? And they were like, fuck yeah, nobody cared. It's like, let's just stick out here for another couple hours, dude. I think we'll get a bite. And I bet we made like probably 4 or 5 more passes through there. And, you know, on the 4th or 5th pass, that short, first off, this is actually the cool part of the story. I'm like listening to music, we're just jamming, talking. Alex is back organizing tackle.
Yeah.
And I look on the screen and I just see like absolutely epic marks.
Huge
like
red
just
marks
like
coming
from
up
the
in
bottom,
surface.
streaking up from the bottom, like multiples streaking up from the bottom, like all coming up at once. And I swear to you, I like turned around and I was like, dude, Alex, look at this shit. And literally as soon as he went like this, the short rigger went psh, and fucking popped off, dude. And that thing screamed out.
And what was it? That one, a ballyhoo or a spreader bar?
No, that cotton candy,
cotton
man.
candy.
353 cotton
Yeah.
candy.
I mean, that
The
thing has
bluefin.
been absolutely fire. I'm here. I am sitting telling Alex, I'm like, dude, you don't even have to put anything out. Like, the long ones, the only ones that matter. Like, these ones you got are for you. They're not for the fish. You know what I mean? And here, you know, that line gets bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. You gotta love it. And, you know, just a little inside scoop. You know, I told you my buddy Phil was telling me he built those spreader bars and only made 6 that color. So you were kind of randomly enough lucky to get one of them.
Well, dude, it was like
only a few people got those
the
cotton
reason that
candies.
kind of like happened is like I built some shit this winter, and like one was like a natural looking squid that looked like them.
Mhm.
And Alex was like, dude, he's like, let's go get some. I forgot what he said. He's like, we need to get some like real fucking shit. Like, let's go get this color and some real shit. Like, not your stupid ass little daisy chains you're building in your
Backyard.
garage. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a couple cool ones,
Dude,
but
I mean,
know what you mean. Sometimes you got to get that.
I
heavier
let
duty.
myself get away from myself. I'm like sitting. I got too weird. I'm like,
No,
I bought a bunch of fucking squid and I just started like going crazy with it. I'm like, this looks amazing, But no, that bar has been absolute fire this year, and I prefer natural. From inshore,
Yeah.
I prefer natural looking baits, man. Like shit that looks real. When you're looking at a fish in the water and it looks like your bait, I feel like that's what you want to use. These goofy colors, like I like them and all, but like, I don't know, man. I just feel like natural looking colors work the best.
It's like you said, with all fishing. You could even take it to bass fishing in a pond.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't help but feel like they're selling to the angler. They make it look all sexy
Yeah,
and
definitely
juicy
are,
and
definitely.
real, and or certain colors, and it's just like, did the fish really care?
Nah.
They're.
The only thing I will
sometimes,
say, like, I do notice, like, you get some cloudy or more turbid water, you get like a yellow or a pink or a chartreuse that like stands out a little bit more in that murk. I feel like that is definitely effective color, usage.
Right.
Or like you're in green water offshore, it's like put some rasta out, put some like funky like bright colors out. If you're in blue water though, dude, make that natural. Like make it look natural.
Right, realistic. And of course there's a time and place, for everything, but like you said, that's just what you prefer. And even
some
inshore,
people, I know people that run rasta bars and it's their jam, like that works well for them and that's what they like. But I preferably I feel like natural colors prevail, overall.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, and then so you guys got that. That was 144 pounds. Ran in here to Sunset, I guess, because you were so close, being at the 12 fathom. You were close
it
to
was
the
Alex's
inlet.
first bluefin.
Oh, okay.
And
well, there you go. I didn't know that part.
We wanted to weigh.
That's awesome. And you fought it, correct?
Yeah.
Dude,
he
again, it was
crushed
just
that
Jeff, Alex, and his wife. Thank her for the couple clips she did get and sent me. But that's awesome. So, Alex, you got to fight, reel it in.
It was pretty sweet.
Dude, he killed that thing so fast, man.
I know how it is, like from us chasing him this winter, and sometimes it was just me and Jeff, and it was me and my buddy Tyler when we got ours. But when you're a two-man crew, it's a team effort.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
That's awesome. Your first one to be 144 pounder. I think was a stud.
Yeah, that's
definitely
one of the bigger ones. That's a good one inshore, man.
Yeah,
Like,
heck yeah.
Some years like that's like the top of the class.
Right.
Like that's the best you're gonna get.
Yeah, and then so that was the week of the tuna tournament. You guys were sort of pre-fishing the tournament, and so Thursday comes, registration. Friday rolls around. You guys want to break down that first day of the tournament?
Yeah,
and again, we said it was 51 boats that fished it. We had some, gnarly weather for Friday, Saturday. Sunday was a little better, or it laid out throughout the day and ended up being gorgeous. But you guys decided to fish. You fished
Friday,
2 of the 3 days.
Yeah.
So
we fished Friday just because I like to fish the first day of the tournament, get on the board, try to set the tone.
yeah,
Have that day in between, see what everybody else does, then formulate your plan from there. We went out. We knew it was gonna be rough, but we knew we weren't going far,
Mm-hmm.
So we left late. We got out there, and I was hoping, like, I didn't tell anybody about the 12, like nobody. And
Well, I remember you were like, "I'll tell you tomorrow."
Yeah. And we got out there, and I see 2 other boats out there, and I'm like, damn it. I'm like, how'd they know? But either way, shit gets around very quickly. You could just say something like, thinking you're not giving anything away, and people, know more than you think they do, like what was going on that day. Just, I don't know. It's like girl drama, but that's really, it's crazy the amount of information, how quickly it spreads down here.
Yes.
But there's 2 other boats there. As soon as I get out there, they started following me around like that. They knew I was catching bluefins, and they like follow me around. So like I kept going past the 12, like fucking around. Like I was just like, I'm gonna make them think I fished somewhere else. Like, no, I know they weren't out here this week, and So
Yeah, and we did post the 144 pounders, so
Yeah.
they saw like, okay, Bad Habit, the Sea Hunter, Jeff, and these guys caught a big bluefin.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they definitely, and the guys that were out there, I'm friends with them. They're good fishermen, both of
right,
them,
and they're paying attention.
and they pay attention, and they know where the fish show up historically. You know, both of them have won money in tournaments. They're both good, really good fishermen. So, you know, I wanted to kind of set a diversion because I knew that they knew I was on those bluefins, and they had no clue what side of the lump the fish were on at that point. So I just rolled up. I rolled past the 12, and like we got there a little early, so I'm just like dicking around on the other side of the lump. I'm like, all right, I'm literally gonna set my autopilot and make sure it says 7 o'clock arrival, like on my spot. And as soon as like it got to like, okay, it's time, I got to put my autopilot on. 7:45 or 6:45. I haul ass back to the other side of the lump, like where we be getting the bites. I haul ass over there, and they're like, you know, stuck on the other side now when lines are in. And I swear to God, on our first pass, we get bit. Like 7:04, 7:05 probably. We got bit.
Jeff set it up perfectly because we were getting the bites basically right on the top of the hill, going to the edge on 12 fathom. And Jeff set up perfectly. I got all my baits back. Everything was perfect. I mean, I was literally putting the drag up on my right long, and we got bit.
Wow.
Like
Yeah,
10 minutes.
instantly.
In a tournament, you know, lines in, can't ask for much more. That's such a cool, good feeling.
It
Like,
felt
yes,
good.
we made the right choice.
What made that day, I don't know, kind of crappy is that literally I make one circle back around and we get bit again, and this one's a bigger fish. And it was I don't know how big it was. We saw it probably from like 15, 20 feet, because I told Alex, I'm going to crank the fucking drag up. Like, well, I don't want to get a 70-inch fish next to the boat and then say, oh, well, that was the winning fish, but we got to cut you loose. See you, buddy.
Exactly.
You know, I'd rather not know, honestly.
And that is the tough thing with, you know, targeting bluefin and tournaments in general. You know, you could probably apply this to a couple different species in tournaments, but, you know, you got to choose. Are we going to go for big eye, yellowfin? You know, you caught that big Allison yellowfin. You never know. You know, some guys may have thought we go for this. And if you go for bluefin, it's one of the caveats is, you know, that limit. They're highly migratory species. You can only keep one under.
Which is silly, but you can kill unlimited big eyes.
Two unders, one over.
2 unders, 1 over. So either way, you're very limited. You know, whereas yellowfin, you can pick through, even big eyes, you can pick through and get a couple big ones and then take them to the scales. Yep. And like you said, you're put in a pinch where you already got one dead on the boat. You're pretty much done, but you're in a tournament, so you're not going to stop fishing.
Right.
So it's
I mean, there's I've caught yellowfins a bunch on the 12 before.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
Like my theory was, you know, like, let's stroll back around here. A lot of times the bluefins will bite first thing, and then the yellowfins will pop up, you know.
Yep. And at this point in the tournament, you know, that big eye bite hadn't quite developed. So it wasn't let's run out there where the guys are catching big eyes. That wasn't happening. There was, I think there was any caught on the first day?
Yeah, there was no big eye. Oh, yeah, Real Tight had one, but it was small.
But it was
I
small,
think they were
right.
south. I don't think they went to that water.
I just remember that first day, it was mostly bluefin and yellowfin.
Yeah.
And then even the second day, I don't remember seeing too many big eyes.
No.
It wasn't until Sunday that everybody...
No, that water got up in the canyon.
Yeah,
That's what happened.
Sunday when all the big eyes came out.
I saw, you could see it, like from, you know, Cabana, that first day they had that, those 5 yellowfins, that stringer, and that's where they were. They were up there, the north. But the water, like I wasn't really interested in, like, when it doesn't push in those canyons like that, dude. It's hard to catch those big eyes like that, like consistently.
Right, because you're out in such deep water.
And,
yeah.
So I mean, when I looked out, when I was out there,
is that thunder?
Yeah. When I was out there Sunday, and I looked at my rip charts while I was out there, I saw that water's up in the canyon. I'm like, well, that's why they're getting bit, you know.
Yep, exactly. Same thing. Like, you know, once I heard there was a big eye caught and looked at rip charts, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But, you know, I think a lot of those guys, maybe they knew something, but I think they were taking a gamble. It just looked like good water for yellowfin, tuna in general.
We all knew that the water to the north was loaded.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
well, it's been like that up in Hudson.
That's
Tom's
what I mean.
Canyon,
So I mean, we knew that water was holding fish. I'm sure those guys knew that water was holding fish too.
Yeah,
it was just a matter of a piece of it breaking off and coming down.
Yeah, and I know boats went to as far as the Spencer on Friday, and like I said, still Real Tight maybe had a big eye, but there wasn't.
But I think I'm pretty sure Real Tight was to the south.
Oh, okay.
I think they went south that first day.
I just know I
Rumors.
bumped into Remo at the scales, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back around 7 when those boys that went up towards the Spencer get back."
Yeah,
So
okay.
I know a couple boats must have went up there, but you know, you took your lay day Saturday. It was another rough, snotty day, and at
Hindsight,
the end,
I wish I would have fished Saturday, honestly, but it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh, well, I know sometimes that calm water, it feels tougher to get a bite.
It definitely
and,
is.
Definitely is.
But yeah, so you guys, we ended up going back out Sunday and stuck to the game plan, try and get another big bluefin, which would have gave you 2 fish for the
I
stringer.
mean, we got 4 bites in there on Friday. Like, I mean, I couldn't get away from the bluefin.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where it's like, all right, we're leaving. We're going somewhere else because we can't catch another bluefin. They were all overs, not any
Yeah.
unders in there.
Right.
So we couldn't, our hands were tied in there. So, like, we left because we just kept getting bit off and frustrating the crew because,
On Friday.
right, because
Right.
they kept reeling in fish, and then we'd see it and be like, that's a bluefin, break it off, crank the track up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, dude, there's no way we're not going to go out there Sunday and get another bite. You
Right.
know? And
But
of course,
like we said, information spreads fast,
and it
especially
was
when
a
there's a tournament going on.
and it was a cluster F up there Sunday.
Yes,
I
it
remember.
was.
There was, and I honestly, like, I didn't want to go to the 12 Sunday. Like, I told my crew, like, guys, I think there's going to be a lot of boats there. Like, I think we should come up with another game plan. They were hell bent on sticking it out there. We all agreed, so I'm not going to blame anybody because I agreed to
Right.
stay there too. But hindsight, I definitely wouldn't have done that.
I was gonna say,
I knew before I went there that there was going to be a ton of boats there, and I thought that, like, you guys know how I fish. Like, when
Yeah.
I'm around people, I don't do well. Like, I can't stand it. Like, you got Captain Facebook coming in and cutting me off. Like, I literally on a straight course going into the 12 before lines in, and then here comes Captain Facebook, cuts me off, goes right in front of me, and then starts telling me to move out of the way. I'm like, dude, I'm going in a straight line right now, and if you're a captain, I know he's a captain because he's a charter,
Mm-hmm.
and you just cut me off and you took my right away from me.
Yeah.
Literally, you just did everything you shouldn't do that they teach you in a captain's course. You just did to me, and I don't know whether it's because he got mad because I wouldn't tell him where I was fishing, but whatever, man.
And in a tournament, tempers do flare. People get upset or go pointing fingers at people, accusing people of things they didn't do, or just act. Sometimes also under all the pressure, a good captain can forget or not be paying attention, and it's
I've
one
really
of
felt
those
like
things.
I don't ever like feeling like this, but I felt like it was intentional because I know
Right.
he had some issues,
well, yeah.
some personal
I know what
issues.
you mean.
So, but like just dumb stuff like that. That's why I don't like fishing around people, and that's why, like, if you guys are listening, like, boats don't always mean fish. For me, they don't mean fish. They mean
Don't chase the boats, chase the
yeah,
fish.
chase
Yeah.
the signs. Don't chase the boats.
Exactly. And yeah,
You see the good fish talking trash, Boss Hog, Marley, those guys. They're not fishing around people. They try to find their own areas and fish away from people, and like that's the keys to success. You're not going to have success. It's at that point you're drawing a card for who gets bit next when you're trolling next to 50 other boats.
Right. Exactly. And I tagged along with you guys Sunday and was going to get some shots, but so I got to see it all happen, and
Yes.
it ended up just getting more and more beautiful. And I kind of am thinking more and more, like, I'm used to, like, I know you're a big duck hunter.
Yeah.
You never go on a bluebird day. The
No, hell no.
birds just don't fly, and I'm starting to think the fish are kind of the same way. I don't know if it's the same reasoning as the ducks. It might be they can see them better, or maybe like you were talking about earlier, you might need to try some different little strategies on those calm days.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it never happens, but I've seen it this whole summer. The days I've been where it was gorgeous, flat, calm, it was very hard to get a bite in.
Mhm.
So, that's basically how Sunday went.
Chop is literally your best friend when you're tuna
Yeah.
fishing. Like, it just makes everything look more real. Like, I don't know, like, when it's flat calm, you don't ever just see like busting white water coming along. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it doesn't look natural.
And it's like we talked about, the chop can give it more action. It can make
Yeah, you
it
get a
a
lot
little
more
harder
action
for them
in
to
your bait.
see and like really hone in on. Well, like, it'll get their attention, but they can't see it so good to the point where they're like, that's not food, or
They're
that's
like, oh,
not fish.
that line's orange.
That's rubber.
Your boat, they can identify everything on your boat. You know what I mean? It's that clear.
Yeah, but was that your first tournament, Alex, or
I mean, that's my first tournament for Bad
With
Hat. I
Jeff.
fished White Marlin Open and Tuna tournament with my dad. A bunch of different tournaments with him.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I was gonna say. So you were born and raised here in Ocean City, right?
Yep. So I was born in Annapolis, Maryland, and then I moved down here my freshman year of high school. But I've been coming down here every summer since I was born.
Right.
And I've lived full time here the last 2 years.
And you and your
Coming up on
dad were fishing on a center console as well.
Center consoles. My dad started out on 32 regulator, then he got a 36 yellowfin. That's what I started out fishing on since I was 4, doing offshore. And then got a 42 yellowfin, which we've had since 2019 when we fished the white and that, and a couple other poor girls. We always fish that every year. And then tuna tournament some years.
Yeah, and then so it was a perfect fit. You know, Jeff was looking for a mate, and you guys just happened to cross paths, or you said a buddy of yours introduced you, and
Yep.
it's really worked out great. You know, you guys been crushing it. So it was just awesome that you came from the center, fishing center
I've always
consoles.
fished center consoles, and there's definitely a way to do it, a way not to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but there's still, you know, you can have us put us up against sport fisher any day. I mean, you know, if you know how to fish, you can catch them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you're on.
Got just as good at odds, and you guys said you did a lot of bill fishing with your dad, right?
Yeah, my dad used to do.
Which is super technical, so like his
Yeah.
rigging's like impeccable, like it's incredible. Like I puts
Right.
my rigging to shame. Like I'm like, dude, mine looks like shit compared to this. You know,
Well, that's
like,
what I was gonna say. It's like if you can be a really good tuna fisherman, but still struggle to get into that billfish world. But I feel like if you're a really good bill fisherman, you can kind of just use
Yeah,
those
tuna-
skills to catch tuna.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because
Yeah,
you get
it's-
bycatch tuna bill fishing anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
definitely.
you can bill fish, you can do anything pretty
Right.
much.
Exactly. So it's just been awesome. Alex has been an awesome asset for the team and Team Bad
I
Habit.
mean, he's like the only person that I like need. I need him every day to catch fish. Like everybody else, like come and go, but like, dude, he is just a killer.
Yeah.
And I don't
It's
know,
awesome.
And he wants to win. Like he's got that.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to win. He doesn't like losing. You know.
Oh, hell no.
Yep, I mean, who does? But I just noticed too from filming, I can, everything from leadering a fish to gaffing it to instructing the person who's reeling the rod and telling them what to do or getting the belt
to
on.
docking
or,
the I'm like,
Yeah,
all
or
right,
even
drive
driving
the
the
boat.
boat.
Like, you can dock the boat better than me, you know.
and that's, where your experience comes in growing
Yep.
up on those bigger center consoles. That's just icing on the cake,
Yeah.
knowing the mate can take the wheel. But yeah, it's just been a great start
It's
to the
been
season.
like I couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, the only thing I could ask for is like maybe a little bit more fish, but
Right, yeah,
other than
exactly.
that, like just for us starting out is a perfect year for us, like to build our confidence with one another, and
100%.
yeah,
like it's
and-
not like crazy fishing where it's like, we can't focus on the smaller things that we would forget about otherwise, but like it's been perfect, you know what I mean? And
Yep.
I'm so excited for the future and like the tournament season this year, and honestly like the next couple years, man, until Alex
outgrows you.
outgrows it. Yeah.
Until he's ready to get his own boat or something.
Yeah.
But that's what I was going to say is, 11th overall, and the only boats that were above, Bad Habit were sport boats and charter boats local here, basically great fishermen. It's
Mhm.
Bob Layton in the record. I grew up with Bob. He's been doing it for a while now. He was one of the youngest charter captains here in Ocean City, and that's his first tournament win. So
Yeah,
it's like, I'm just speaking to the level
I
of
was
competition.
super excited for them guys. Like I was really happy to see.
Oh,
Record win.
yeah.
Yeah, I was rooting for them.
Me too.
Jeremy Blunt's put that tournament on for a long time. I don't think he's ever won it.
Yeah.
But he
it's-
started that tournament. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. We can double
I
check
know
that,
he was
but
part
either
of
way,
it. Like he was definitely
yeah.
part of the start of it.
They've been around a long time, and it was just cool to see a local boat and some good guys win it. And everyone that was, like I said, they were all local
Yeah.
charter boats that they know what they're doing. So it was.
You're not going to come into our
extreme
hometown and
competition.
take our
No.
take our money from us.
Right.
That money's staying local.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's just always awesome when that happens. And then the next tournament coming up fast is the Huck Big Fish. We had Captain Sean in here and telling us all about that.
I'm so stoked for that one.
we're getting
I mean,
pumped.
especially with like this water coming in, like then you got that overnight fishing, which
Yeah.
I love, man. Like, I don't know, I come back alive out there at night. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
go through a lull in the afternoon, then like the evening, I'm like, all right, put your hands up next to the sun, see how close the sun is to your hands. All right, it's Big I-30. Let's go, boys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it just I've been out there a couple times overnight, but I know it's a different feeling when you're out there at night. It seems like it kind of lights up
It's kind of
everything.
Like, it's really cool, man. Is like you control all night out there. Like I've caught fish till 2 o'clock in the morning trolling out there.
Right. Yeah.
And like it's a lot. It's overlooked, but you know, just bring your spread in shorter. Take a couple rods out. Make sure it's pretty short, not long. You know, and just troll around, man. Like be surprised, especially on a full moon. Like.
And even so, with the hook, that is one of the things that's really cool with the big fish. You don't have to troll, correct?
You can do anything,
you
man.
Can chunk,
anything.
You can troll.
Deep
you
drop.
It's just a circle hook tournament, so you got to run circle hooks unless you're running artificial. But you can live bait, you can dead bait, you can troll, you can chunk, you can. Sean will tell you he just wants dead fish.
The biggest
weight.
fish brought to the scales. Yep. Yeah. So that one's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. I'll be around for sure. At the docks, at the weigh-ins.
I mean, I know
they
do have some funky rules with. Just pay attention, everybody. If you're doing swords, like it's you know.
It's all hand crank.
Yeah. Only thing you can use is the drill just to check your bait.
Yeah.
You know, not to pull the bait up 30 yards and put it down when you go to hook the sword.
Mm-hmm.
But like just when you're pulling that bait up to the surface is the only time you can use that crank.
Like when there's no fish on it, you just reset. Yeah. Well, that's good to know for any of you guys going for swords. But we got the big fish. What else is coming up? We got White Marlin Open,
and Mid-Atlantic. I'm like 99% sure I'm gonna fish Mid-Atlantic. The way this year's going with him, like I'm confident. Like I was concerned about, you know, new boat, new crew, new vibe, but like our cockpit's everything's going very, very smoothly on the boat. So I really think I'm gonna fish it.
Oh yeah, so we were saying, looking at the conditions now, it looked like to me there's a big chunk of blue water right down there, pretty much in the Norfolk, and then there's that blue water still hanging out up in the well, I guess pushing towards Baltimore now.
It's in the
been
Baltimore
a few
now.
days, yeah. So
almost looked like it was getting close to Port Man's, like the part leading edge of it, you know.
Right, yeah, and we're just hoping it's gonna really heat up here. The inshore bite has been turning on a little bit, We got those ones in the tournament.
My buddy also, like, since the tournament, I've had some reports back, and my buddy got a 90-some pounder at Massey's 2 days ago. Yeah, yellowfin. And
I heard of a couple caught at the Hot Dog. I heard there was some action at the Ham Bones.
Yeah, so just look for those birds picking. I mean, I don't even look at the name of the lump, man. I look for birds,
Right, and those, for all you inshore guys and small boat warriors, it's time to get out there.
Yeah,
and,
it's getting close.
And speaking of reports and
chunking season,
shots, yep, chunking season's coming. But I just want to mention, our website is live, alwaysbent.com. You can get on there if you're in need of a report or analysis. You can get a one-time report, or you can become a member. But go ahead and check that out.
We're also looking to start very soon. We're going to start recording how-to videos and planning videos like what Alex and I do prior to a trip, from a water standpoint, from a tackle preparation standpoint, from a boat perspective. We're going to be going into a lot of cool stuff that if you're not a member, you're not going to see.
Yep, and there's a couple videos in there, but there's a members only video library like Jeff was saying, and we're going to cover all that. And I'm going to be doing inshore stuff as well. It's middle of summer right now, it's offshore season, so that's kind of the gear we're in at the moment. But get on there, check it out, alwaysbent.com, and let us know in the comments if there's a particular video you guys want to see or something you really want to know how we do, whether it's rigging, spread, gear we use, whatever. But yeah, we're stoked. It's been going great, and
yeah, I'm excited. The rest of the year looks very promising with that water to the north, sitting above us. The only thing we really need is some inshore fishing, because it's been bad. I've still been looking, man. I still go out there and look, and it's been hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, we ventured out the other day, and it was rougher than we expected. We're on a 24-foot center console with my uncle, and we went to 12. We were going to go to
I meant inshore.
Oh, right.
In my bay.
Yeah.
It's been so tough, man.
We're definitely going to get after some of that. Yeah, some bay fishing. I know I went to the bridge the other night randomly. I saw they were catching a bunch of bluefish, so I was like, oh, I'm going to pop out and see what's up. And, the bite only lasts for about 45 minutes or an hour, but it was all striper the night I went. So I got a slot, or your buddy, Austin Wagner, he got a nice slot. And, but all the boys hooked a couple fish. We're all running around with nets.
So the fishing's good at the bridge. It's I guess in the shallow, back by my house, it's been tough.
It's getting tough because that water's so hot. You know, even the trout down in down by Aztec and behind Aztec, Cinnapuxet, Newport, Chincoteague Bay, they're getting finicky because that water's so hot. It is the peak of the solar lunar, or was last night. This is July 18th. We're recording this. I was thinking, you know, that big incoming tide could bring some cooler water, maybe cool down the bay temporarily, but you know, it's hard to say. I know with the bridge fishing and the striper and bluefish, the tide is key. You gotta fish the tide.
Yeah, you
you're
gotta
not gonna have much luck.
Yeah, and like those days, like you don't get that like good push of water. Like it doesn't really cool things off.
Exactly. Exactly. But yeah, we're looking forward to getting out there. We're stoked.
Anything
to have
else
Alex.
from Alex?
I think that's it.
He's like, I want to kill, man. He's like, when am I killing a fish again?
We're gonna get out there too.
Tomorrow,
He likes
buddy.
to-
Calm down. Calm down. You know, we're going.
Well, I was gonna say, so the next trip tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a trip. Couple of my clients from the insurance world, we took out earlier this year.
Yeah,
He's
they're
an
awesome.
guy.
Nice.
Owns a big floral company, landscaping company up in Baltimore County.
Awesome.
Raider Balls. If you guys ever shout out to the Raider Balls.
Sweet. Well, yeah, I was just wondering the next trip, and then I will also want to get out and film one day if we go shark fishing or when we're not going offshore.
Yeah.
Alex does some shark fishing, so that'll be fun to. We were messing around.
We're gonna do I really want to do an episode too, like very soon. Like, let's go out in the evening when the big eyes get into Washington, which I think is gonna happen soon. And go out for an evening and do an overnighter and just smoke some big
Yeah,
eyes.
well, we're like, one more time, I'm going to shout out our buddy Remo, because that's pretty epic, you know. He wasn't in the tournament, but he got
Death
the
from
word about
above.
those big guys in Wilmington. Boogied out in his 37 Sea Hunter, in his Remo style happy hour at the canyon, you know.
Yep.
He's passing Austin Enzer as he's heading to the scales. There goes Remo out.
Yeah.
And sure enough, gets wolf packed by 5 big guys, managed to land them all. So
It's like
good for Remo.
turns
Shout
it
out to
around
him.
and head back in. You know, it's like that's
Yeah,
a good
it's
trip.
awesome. That's what you want to do. That's
Yeah,
like
it's nice when
all the stars align.
you don't waste any time. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
fish bite, get on the line, and they come in the boat. you
And
know?
it was sweet too, you know, I'm guessing he didn't have the opportunity to fish the tournament, so he was like, he got that intel and was like, hey, it's a Sunday, I'm off, let's boogie out there. And it just,
Dude, we
it's
were all
awesome.
like, if I wasn't so exhausted, I would have ran there. But
Right,
he hit
well,
me up. He was like, where are you? I'm like, I'm getting ready to leave at 12. He's like, I'm going past the 12. He's like, you want to boogie out here with me? I'm like, I said something to everybody, and they
I
were
was
all
gonna
like,
say, I remember
yeah.
you saying, should we run
But
out?
dude,
just for
everybody,
fun?
the vibe was just so dead. Like everyone's so tired.
Yeah.
I was just like, they say they want to, but I have a feeling that Alex is gonna be working his fucking ass off because nobody else wants to do it.
Yeah, everybody was pretty booked.
Yeah.
That's a long weekend, you know, tournament fishing, plus the first 2
It
days
is.
were
It's
snotty.
tough, and that does take it out of you, man. Like it does.
For sure. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, to another Always Bent podcast. We will be back sooner than later with another podcast, and we've got the tournament recap video coming on YouTube. We've got another inshore episode coming soon, so just stay tuned.
And
Subscribe
we gotta
on
get
YouTube.
our guests back. We had Austin. We're gonna probably have to.
Yeah, we'll still
reschedule
have
some
Austin
people.
Enzer in the future.
So we gotta get all that back going. We apologize for like not being consistent with the podcast, but it's just been trying to get everything up and running this summer with our,
Exactly. We've got a lot going on, and so do other people. You know, one we rescheduled, but one of the other ones they had to reschedule. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that's
just
true.
getting everybody's schedules in line. It's summer. You know, the fishing's good. People are not wasting time. They want to get out.
Yeah.
If they're not fishing offshore, you know, they're at the sandbar or doing
I have a
something.
feeling it's gonna be
so-
easier to get guests in the wintertime.
Oh yeah, I mean that'll be for sure. But let's hope those bluefin come back this winter though.
Maybe it won't be.
Chasing
You
them
know,
around.
maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be harder to get guests then too if the bluefin come. You know?
Yeah, we'll see. But all right, guys. Well, we'll see you next time. Subscribe to the channel, share this video, give it a like, and let us know in the comments if there's anything you want to see in the future or hear us talk about. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.